updates.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Guys, if you just joined us, you missed a really interesting conversation regarding the launch of that new party that we saw the preparation for happening last week at the Shore Park Cultural Complex, with the interim political leader being Mr. Farley Augustine, who is currently the Honorable Chief Secretary here in Tobago. Now, as we continue on with the conversation this morning, I have the privilege of sitting with the lovely Mrs. Jewel Greene-George. Yes, who is also the president of the Tobago Writers Guild. And this morning we're talking about the creative industry here on the island. We're talking about how Tobago can boost that orange economy, what needs to be done, and how more attention needs to be placed on the industry. So good morning, Mrs. George. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm fine.
Is this your first time on Tobago Updates?
No, actually.
Okay,
yeah, well, but first time in a while.
Okay. Well, it's always a pleasure to have the Tobago Writers Guild on, because you guys play a critical function on the island here, especially where literacy is concerned. And you guys have explained to Tobagonians and just our viewers online, how does the Tobago Writers Guild function?
Okay. Well, the Tobago Writers Guild started in 2008 by just a group of persons who read, write, and they were really interested in supporting authors like themselves. So they started this group just to support authors, and it has grown and blossomed into what it is today. We have quite a number of initiatives going all year, some monthly, some annually. But the Guild has over 300 members, about 100 and so active members, some honorary members as well, and lifelong members. But the Guild itself is really interested in making sure that we provide an opportunity for people who write, first and foremost, to have a community, right, that will support, help them be nurtured. They can talk to each other about what's happening in their writing, what's happening in their journey as authors, and that's really the root, the foundation of what the Guild is about.
Right, but this morning you're here on an advocacy note.
Yes.
And you're advocating for more attention to be placed on the creative industry. What type of conversations have you guys been having with the Tobago House of Assembly, just policymakers on a whole, lobbyists? What type of conversations are being had in that regard, and who are you guys talking to?
Well, I would tell you, Chanel, we haven't spoken to a soul yet, right? And for this reason, we want to understand what we understand about our industry before we approach somebody to say, we need more of this or we need less of this. You know what I mean? You must understand what you want and what you need first as a person, as a group, as an NGO, as an organization. And those are the internal conversations we're having. We are figuring out what's our strategic plan for the next few years. Where are we going? What does the Guild and writers, what do writers in Tobago need and want?
Okay, and is it that you're here this morning to ask individuals to join in on that conversation?
Oh, yes.
Help us to understand.
Well, let me just explain first that the orange economy is a creative industry, right? It covers all things creative once it deals with the intellectual property. So anything, so it can range from writing, which the Guild covers, music, the arts, research, right? Creating a new technology, creating a new tool, right? So it covers inventors as well. It does not only cover writers and artists, as people feel, this creativity, it's only a small little sector, people who dance, sing, and write. It also includes persons who may be creating tools, new technologies, new equipment. So a doctor who has created a new type of surgical instrument will now be covered under the orange economy because it covers anything that is dealing with intellectual property, anything that is coming from generated from your mind, and therefore you want to protect your intellectual property, you want to protect that, that thing you have generated now out of yourself.
Right. And so you said that you guys are still having conversations among yourself in regards to what you would like to see happening with the orange economy on the island, the type of investments that you want to see being made here. But what type of recommendations have you guys come up with so far?
Well, the issue that a lot of writers are meeting is the issue of one, publication, right, and funding. So it's not just an issue. So the funding isn't just to publish a book, but the funding is also going to cover education, capacity development. Because what you want from a writer, what a writer wants, is to be able to write the best work they can write, is to be able to produce the best piece of literature that they can produce. And what is coming out of that is that we do not always have the best skills to do that. Obviously, as you start as a writer, your skill level will increase, but you still want to be able to do some capacity building. You may want to do a journalism or a writing intensive or workshop, or even a writing course on the island. And Tobago currently does not offer, even for distance learning, the ability for an author to sign up for a writing course, and the ability for a writer to join a writing course, so perhaps to get a degree or a master's in writing, right? There is nothing here on the island in terms of whether it's distance learning or, face-to-face for an author to say, well, I'm going to get into this program and it's going to help and support me in terms of my writing. And the next thing we're not having a lot of is, I would say, writing, what we say writing competitions, short story competitions, for people to be able to submit their work, for you to get feedback, because winning something is the best feedback ever, right?
And these things that the Tobago Writers Guild can facilitate?
Yes, some of it, definitely.
So is it that you are calling on Tobagonians to support the initiatives of the Tobago Writers Guild?
Well, I am calling on the Tobago people, the people who are resident in Tobago, not just to support, but to understand that their writing is not just something that they do at home. You have singers who sing in the bathroom, right? So I don't want you all to write and put your book somewhere, show your friends and family, and then we never hear about your book. We want people to come forward with their work, with their pieces. We can help you put it together. The Tobago Writers Guild, we do have a publishing house, and we will be having a hard launch by putting forward a Tobago Imprint Volume 2, because we have a Tobago Imprint Volume 1, which is an anthology of 26 authors from Tobago, and their short stories compile this book. So what we're looking for the next Volume 2 to do is to galvanize another set of writers. And what we want Tobago people to understand, and we're heading into conversations in terms of the lecture series and in terms of public conversations, not just in the guild, right? To talk to people, to get people to the understanding that your writing is not, this thing that you should hide away. It is something that it can be an income earner. You can literally be a career writer and an author, just like, all the popular authors, right? You are not exempt from success because you are in a little island in the Caribbean, Tobago.
Right. And how can persons join the Tobago Writers Guild?
Well, they definitely can join by calling us, right? We do have a number of ways they can contact us. So they can call us at 620-5799. They can contact us by email, and that's Tobago Writers Guild 123@gmail.com. And they can also find us on all the social media. So Instagram, Facebook, and we have an online form. So you don't even have to print anything. You don't even have to come in. It's really, COVID has really taken us from this face-to-face model of doing things to be able to do things virtually. So we have an online form.
And before you go, because we're wrapping up here.
Yes.
Tell the people about how you guys have really targeted the different age groups, because when we talk about literacy, we talk about writing, we talk about reading, we are talking about targeting multiple demographics, especially when we look at age groups. So how have you guys been targeting those different age categories?
Well, what I want to explain first is that the Writers Guild, even though literacy will come under us, it's not our main focus. Our main focus is writing. So what we do is partner with literacy programs and partner with those who are skilled at literacy training, right, to make sure that literacy is something that is pervasive on the island. But what we are doing to target, we do have First Mic. First Mic targets children between the ages of 7 to 14. We're looking to open up those age groups. We do have, and that's an open mic for children that we had at the library. We're starting back this year. We do have the next chapter, which is targeting the young adults, right? An open mic for young adults. And we've partnered with the library this coming April 24th to have an open mic at the amphitheater at the Scarborough Library. So check our Facebook page, the library's Facebook page for that event. We've also targeted adults. So the Writers Guild has really been facilitating adults, and that's, well, you know, that's the 18 and up age group, right? So we have multiple areas where we're targeting multiple age groups to lend support. We, we were part of DIRT's initiative for World Read Aloud Day this March 1st, and we went into the schools and read aloud to them, and let me tell you, it was very well received. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming in this morning and having this
me.
conversation and representing the Tobago Writers Guild. Guys, you've heard it here, the Tobago Writers Guild. She gave all the contact information. You can reach out to them on Facebook or email them at the Tobago Writers Guild 123@gmail.com.
Yes.
And yeah, you can reach them there. Get your
620-5799. You can give us a call.
Excellent. And you can get your kids involved. If you yourself are a writer, if you just have your journals there and, you know, persons that you are close with have told you, why don't you publish it? Maybe this is a sign that it's time.
Oh, yes.
So contact the Tobago Writers Guild and get your work out there. As she said previously, I mean, this is something that has been a career and an income earner for many persons.
Yes.
So don't even overlook the ability for the work that you have done to reap financial benefits. Guys, thank you so much for making Tobago Updates the #1 broadcasting station on the island of Tobago. And so we are finished here for today. So I just want to sign out and say thank you again for joining, for liking, for commenting, for sharing. And guys, thank you for continuing to support us here on Tobago Updates. Guys, this is Good Morning Tobago. I am Chanel Felix, and have a great day.
Passion start to rise, the energy fill the sky.